So what's good everybody, and welcome back to another video. Now for tonight's upload I have something a little bit different for you guys. In tonight's upload I'm going to be showcasing the before and after of my PC overclocking after getting my PC overclocked through SenseQuality. Now if you guys don't know what SenseQuality is, it is a team of PC technicians who work on providing you multiple services on their website, such as PC overclocking, which I personally got, as well as dual PC setups which include PC overclocking, internet optimizations, stream optimizations, everything like that. And the main reason I got my PC overclocked at this specific moment is because they have a sale on right now where the PC overclocking costs $99 USD down from $150, which is pretty big for me because, you know, the money conversion from USD to NZD, that's a big difference. And I'm basically doing this video just to give insight to anyone who is curious on what the service is like, how we go about doing all of this, and what the results are. Of course, you want to know what result you're getting for the price you're paying. So jumping right into this comparison, what I will say right off the bat is I noticed my FPS increase on Rebirth being a lot more drastic than Caldera, and you might expect that because Rebirth overall is just a less demanding map on your PC. It gets higher frames on most people's rigs anyway, but it's just a huge difference. Now normally on Rebirth, for my average FPS before the overclock, I would say it's around 150 to 170. There's some parts of the map like maybe Nova where I might dip down to around 130, 140, in some other parts where I might get around 180, maybe 190, it depends, and they're not stable anyway. It might just peak there for a couple seconds then go back down, you know what I mean? Now as for Caldera before the overclock, my frames are honestly I'd say like a solid 150 to 170. Now of course it all depends on where you are on the map. Certain parts of the map require more performance and are more FPS heavy, and then some others, you know, let you off a little bit and give you a bit more frames depending on where you are. A solid 150 can peak around maybe 180, but that's like the most I'd get, I'd say. Now as for after the OC on Rebirth, my frames go from around, you know, like 160, 170 as I mentioned, to pretty much not dropping below 200. There are some areas where I'll get about 190-ish, but for the most part, the majority of Rebirth is above 200 FPS, hovering around, you know, 210, 220, and then some areas I push around 240, 250. And then I do get 300 plus FPS looking at the sky. And moving on to Caldera for the after overclock part of the video, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I don't know what's happening. When we finished with the overclock session, my PC on Caldera was pretty much not dropping below 190 FPS and was hovering around the low 200s, but as I'm recording this, I'm kind of getting the same as before, which is wrong, right? I've done everything I needed to. I've applied the OC on the RYZEN master, you know, I've made sure everything was the same as what we left when the session ended, and for some reason I'm just not getting those frames. I don't know if it's something on my end or what's going on, but believe me when I tell you, I was averaging around 190 to low 200s FPS on Caldera. So the next part of this video I want to move on to is my GPU temperatures specifically, because before the overclock I was sitting at about 65 to 70 degrees, and after the overclock I've seen about a 10 to 15 degree drop at about 55, around there. I haven't really seen it go like fluctuate much differently. It's around like 52 to 55 is what I've seen, but I haven't really played in a long enough session to see it, how the temperatures play out after a 2-3 hour session or something like that. So it could go up a little bit higher. The low 50s to high 50s is the most that I've seen. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the video, but the first thing I realized I should have talked about is how was all this done. So basically you get a link to a Zoom meeting, you know, you got to download Zoom, and it's basically just done through Zoom. You download a program called AnyDesk, which basically allows your technician who is overclocking your PC to access your PC, you know, do the Windows settings, overclock your GPU through MSI Afterburner, and my CPU was overclocked through RYZEN Master because I have a RYZEN CPU, but if it were to be Intel, I don't know how that process would be done. Now as for the BIOS settings, you pretty much just connect the Zoom meeting through your phone and show your camera, put it up to your screen, and your technician will go through your BIOS and tell you what settings to change, what values to add, and what, you know, what to disable, what to enable, everything like that. It's a very smooth, easy process. I personally, with my experience and with my appointment, didn't have any issues or anything like that. So now we have finally reached the end of this video, and if there's anything that I didn't mention throughout this that you want to know about, drop your questions down in the comment section below and I'm very sure to reply to them, because I'm happy to answer any questions for things that I didn't mention in the video. And that's gonna wrap it up here, so thank you so much for watching. Drop a like if you enjoyed and hit that red sub button down below with post notifications on for daily Warzone content here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Have a great day everybody, and I'm out.